I never thought changing the password to my own Wi-Fi would turn me into the villain of the entire neighborhood. Within hours, I had two screaming sisters in floral dresses calling me a cyber criminal, waving a router like it was evidence in a murder trial, and dragging an innocent jogger by the hair just to make a point. By the end of that week, there were neon posters accusing me of theft, HOA meetings filled with crocodile tears, and even the police standing on my lawn while my neighbors recorded every second on their phones. All of this because I dared to protect what I paid for. It started small, the kind of favor you regret the moment you say yes. Amber, tall, dramatic, with long brown hair, showed up at my door one morning holding her phone. "Our provider's taking forever," she said. "Mind if I hop on your Wi-Fi for a bit?" I was caught off guard, still half asleep, and against my better judgment, I gave her the password. A week later, her sister Amy came with the same request. By then, I was too polite to say no. Before I knew it, they weren't waiting for their provider anymore, they were freeloading off me full-time. They streamed movies, hosted watch parties, bragged about how clever they were for never paying a cent. I told myself it wasn't worth the fight. Keep the peace, Mark. Let it slide. But every time they laughed about it in public, every time they hinted at how easy I was to use it, ate away at me. The breaking point came one night as I walked past their house. Through the window, I saw my own Netflix account playing in their living room. They weren't even subtle. Friends piled on the couch, snacks everywhere, and my profile glowing on their screen. That was it. I snapped. I went home, sat down at my computer, and changed the password. Just like that, the free ride was over. The next morning, I was halfway through my coffee when Amber's shriek shattered the quiet. She stormed out into the driveway, router clutched like a weapon, screaming, "This is illegal!" Amy wasn't far behind, dragging a jogger by the hair and shouting about community resources. The whole block started coming out of their houses. Phones went up. I leaned against my car, pretending to stay calm, but inside my blood was boiling. Amber pointed at me like she'd just solved a crime. "You think you can get away with this?" "This is cybercrime," Amy added with crocodile tears. "Our fridge won't open. Our thermostat's frozen. Our lights don't respond. You've destroyed our lives." I finally spoke slow and deliberate. I changed the password to my Wi-Fi. "That's it. You know, the one I pay for every month? The one that doesn't have your names on it." Gasps from the crowd. Amber spun around, announcing to everyone, "He admits it. He cut us off. He's abusing the system." Amy jabbed her finger into my chest, swearing they'd call the HOA and the police. For a moment I thought they might actually throw the router at me. Instead, Amber lowered it with a chilling smile and hissed, "This isn't over. You have no idea what you started." They weren't bluffing. The next day I woke up to a neon poster in their yard. "Our neighbor is a Wi-Fi thief." Cars slowed to read it, people snapped photos. Amber and Amy posed on their porch like queens of a circus. By afternoon, they'd flooded the neighborhood WhatsApp group with sob stories. "Our smart fridge locked us out of our food. Our lights won't turn on. We're being abused." Some gullible neighbors actually believed them. A few said, "That's awful. Maybe the HOA should intervene." I felt sick. Their lies weren't about facts, they were about drowning me in noise. At the HOA meeting, I came prepared with the truth. But the sisters arrived with mascara running and trembling voices. "We're single women just trying to survive," Amber whimpered. Amy dabbed at fake tears. And somehow, instead of outrage, the board looked exhausted. One member even muttered, "Maybe you could just share the password again to keep the peace." I walked out with clenched fists and a hollow pit in my stomach. For the first time, I wondered, am I overreacting? Am I the problem here? I almost convinced myself to let it go, to give in just to make the noise stop. But then one night I caught Amy outside my window. Her face was half lit by the glow of her phone as she stood there hunting for my signal. When she saw me staring back, she didn't look embarrassed. She smiled, slow, creepy, and walked away. That was the moment I knew this wasn't just freeloading anymore. It was obsession, and obsession needed to be broken. So I planned my move. Their entire identity revolved around Netflix. They bragged about their nightly watch parties. Without it, they were nothing. So I changed my Netflix password too, then renamed my Wi-Fi networks Pay Your Bills Amber and Not Your Wi-Fi Amy. Petty, absolutely, but poetic justice. That weekend, their friends arrived for another movie night. I sat by my window watching them carry pizza and soda inside. Through the blinds, I saw Amber buzzing with excitement, Amy setting up the couch. Then it began. The endless loading circle. Netflix refused to play. Voices rose, frustration boiling. And then, perfect timing, they saw the new Wi-Fi names glowing on their devices. Laughter broke out among their guests. Amber's face appeared at the window, blotchy with rage, searching for me like a predator. I raised my glass in a slow toast. She yanked the blinds shut, but not before one of her guests laughed out loud. By 9 p.m., the driveway was empty. Their friends had left. The queens of the block were stripped of their audience. The next morning, a bigger sign appeared. "This neighbor is a hacker," painted in red with a cartoon villain that looked suspiciously like me. Neighbors shook their heads, snapped photos, laughed. The sisters didn't realize they weren't intimidating anyone anymore. They were comedy. Still, I documented everything. Screenshots, videos, photos. If they wanted war, I'd make sure the record buried them. The final act came fast. One weekend, they burst into their yard, router cables tangled in their arms. Amber held it high, screaming, "He sabotaged this. He hacked our system." Amy stomped in circles, waving her phone, shrieking about FBI investigations. Neighbors gathered cameras ready. It was pure theater. And then the police showed up. Amber launched into her rant about cybercrime. Amy demanded my arrest. The officer listened quietly, then asked one simple question. "Whose name is on the internet bill?" Silence. Amber sputtered. Amy glared. I handed over a printed copy of my bill with my name bold at the top. The officer glanced at it, nodded, tucked it into his folder, and turned back to the sisters with the flattest expression I'd ever seen. That was it. No arrests, no crime. Just two women exposed in front of the entire block. Neighbors whispered, laughed, phones recorded everything. Within hours, clips hit social media. By midnight, Wi-Fi Karen strike again was trending, comments flooding in jokes about routers, Netflix freeloaders. The sisters wanted attention, and they got it, but not the kind they could survive. By morning, their signs were gone, curtains drawn. For the first time in months, the street was silent, peaceful. I sat in my living room that night, Netflix streaming on my screen, crisp and uninterrupted. It wasn't revenge that tasted sweet, it was justice. They had tied their own noose with arrogance and entitlement. All I did was stop holding the rope. And here's the lesson: entitlement always collapses under its own weight.